So, I know I am really late to the party, but that is because I have been sick. My throat has been killing me. I haven't been able to talk properly in the past couple of days. And for those who are wondering, the reason why my videos continue, since even though this was last week, all my stuff is shot in advance, which you actually see a camera movement or you see my hands and that kind of stuff. This kind of stuff is shot day and date. The reason why I'm doing this video anyways is because I figured it'd be interesting enough to hear from somebody who The Incredible Hulk is their favorite Marvel film, and is someone who is no longer actually a fan of the MCU, because I have seen things where, yeah, I believe Edward Norton's actual thing, what he's saying, and not what Kevin Feige says about Edward Norton. And I will give reasons, not just because I like that particular movie. So, the article. Edward Norton says Marvel went back on its word over Dark Hulk film. Edward Norton wanted a gritty, dark Hulk film in the way Christopher Nolan's Batman series, and he believed Marvel was on board. Turns out they were not. The Oscar nominated actor opened up about his split with Marvel in the New York Times profile published Monday. When Norton approached When Norton was approached to star in 2008's The Incredible Hulk, he pitched not one but two films, he told The Times. I laid out a two-film thing, the origin and then the idea of the Hulk as a cautious dreamer, the guy who can handle the trip, Norton said. And they were like, that's what we want. As it turned out, that wasn't what they wanted. Still, Norton said he had a great time doing the film and got along with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. That was until Feige released a statement in 2010 that said Norton would not be in Avengers and took a shot at the actor, apparently being difficult. Our decision is definitely not one based on monetary factors, but instead rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our talented cast members, Feige's statement. Yeah, which was cheap, Norton said. It was brand defense or something. Ultimately, they weren't going for long, dark, and serious, but that doesn't matter. He continued, we had positive discussions about going on with the films, and we looked at the amount of time that would have taken, and I wasn't going to do that. I honestly would have wanted more money than they would have wanted to pay me, but that's not why I wouldn't have wanted to do another Hulk movie anyways. Norton maintains there was no fight between himself and Feige during the production. I'm saying that Kevin had an idea of things that you could do, and that was remarkable, he said. Now, it didn't happen to be a tonal, thematic level, what I wanted to spend my time doing. Comedy Central roast of Bruce Willis last year, in which he seemingly took a shot at Marvel, he told The Times he actually was taking a shot at himself. I tried to be like you. I did a big action movie called The Incredible Hulk. You know what was wrong? I wanted a better script, Norton said. This was a joke making fun of myself, because he actually did rewrite a majority of the Incredible Hulk film. And they all turned it to like, Norton Edward takes a dig at Marvel. No, I'm taking a dig at myself. At a roast. People have to grow up. Which he's right. So, why I think that Kevin Feige was in the wrong and he was in the right? When they approached him to do the Incredible Hulk from the interview, he said they were told him that it's two movies, not that they were doing to do the Avengers, and that they were going to do the Avengers. It was going to be the lighthearted version, like Iron Man still had some grit to it, but it was still lighthearted and funny. Hulk was more serious. It's like the Avengers. He was originally going to be the bad guy, the Hulk. That's why Loki was going to take his brain over, and he was going to be the bad guy. And if you look at, because Norton also said that they had laid out what they were going to do. They had positive discussions about going on with the films, which the proof is when you look at the interview of Mark Ruffalo, the famous one. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo, huh? He is doing that because in 2011, when they were announcing the Avengers cast who was going to be in it, they still hadn't talked to Mark Ruffalo until 4 a.m. in the morning. And then they brought him out to California and introduced him. They hadn't changed the prompter, so it said, returning as your Incredible Hulk, Mark Ruffalo. All they did was change the name. So, and that confused people, but they waited until the 11th hour to change it because they were trying to get Norton to approve of it or to agree to it, and it wasn't a monetary thing. Because if you look at the two actors' records, between the times of the Avengers and Endgame, like the last movie Hulk's going to be in, if they did the same thing, like they didn't continue to just make like one extra, they made like the Incredible Hulk 2, and that was it. Like they did, that Hulk was only in Incredible Hulk 2, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Endgame, and Ragnarok. That probably would have been the third one, because they wouldn't have been Thor Ragnarok. It would have been World War Hulk or something like that, which Norton probably would have been aboard with because he likes darker stuff. And those comics are pretty dark to begin with. Those are both teen, that one, and World War Hulk. That means Norton would have been doing 5 movies. Ruffalo, he doesn't really do anything in Hollywood. He's not a big successful actor. He just does the Marvel films, basically. That's all he's doing now. And that's what Norton thought that would happen to him. He wouldn't be able to do the art house films that he likes doing, the movies that gets him nominated for the Oscars and the Screen Actors Guild Awards. He likes to do artsy films. He likes to do human interest films. He likes to do films that Martin Scorsese would call cinema. Yes, I'm bringing that up again because more people are coming out in defense of Scorsese because people are taking it out of what he said out of context, because what he said was that he basically called the Marvel films popcorn films that you turn your brain off, which they are. You can't defend. They're not some great piece of art that's going to be looked at for years to come. It's just, they're good for now. It's something to watch for 2 hours when you got nothing else on. And this is coming from somebody who used to be one of the world's biggest MCU fans. It's like the only things that come close, in my opinion, is the original Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, and Winter Soldier. The rest of them, popcorn films. And that being said, the reason why I don't believe Feige is because he went on record saying that Scorsese was wrong and that he would rather have a room full of fans than all the awards in the world. But yet, what'd he do? He pushed Avengers Endgame in 13 categories for the Oscars this year. Now, if he was truly honest about not needing the awards and only wanting fans that like the stuff, he wouldn't have bothered. He would have just done the regular CGI stuff, makeup stuff, special effects, and that's all he would have pushed it for. But no, he's pushing it for Best Actor, Supporting Actor, Adapted Screenplay, all that stuff. Score, so yeah. Feige definitely does do some lying and does some brand protection because he's noticing probably a lot of people aren't liking the current direction they're headed to. For lack of a better word, futurist female version of the MCU that they're doing, and people aren't really liking it that much. A lot of people are getting angry about it. It's like, even the scene that they did to try to foreshadow A-Force, it would have been, to me, I wouldn't have cared if they had changed a couple things. Like, Wasp was busy trying to fix the quantum tunnel with Ant-Man. Scott doesn't know anything about science. He's a thief. What he knows is very little. It's like, even though they showed the part in Endgame about him trying to explain the time travel stuff, he's not the most intelligent person in the world. Hope, on the other hand, helped invent this technology with her father, so she should have been over there helping him, not with doing a whole girl power movement. Valkyrie is sworn to protect Thor, Odin's son. the king of Asgard, because he was still king at the moment. What was she doing? She decided to show up for girl power. Pepper, who just lost Tony, and she finally got him back, you think she really would have separated herself from him in a fight unless she had to? No, she would have been staying by him, as it was shown in the thing. In the scene right before it, they were doing a back-to-back shooting thing, and then they did girl power. So they took a couple things out, like, and the Black Panther characters are supposed to be protecting their king, T'Challa. So why would they be running over to some random woman to do a girl power moment? I mean, they could have had, like, Wanda and Ghost and Mantis, Gamora, because Gamora didn't care about Peter anymore, and Nebula and all them. They could have had them doing it, just not the characters that have a male counterpart that they're either supposed to protect, they're smarter than, or they love. That was a stupid addition that they did, in my opinion. And I think the scene probably would have gone over better if they had done that. You know, had the female characters that are detached, don't have a partner, either in romance or in teaming. I would have liked this, Hulk film, even if it was starring Ruffalo, like if they had done Hulk 2 with the Mastermind, because you saw his head get hit, or with General Ross becoming like Red Hulk. I would have liked them to continue it, but they didn't. Not because of money, and not because people didn't, quote, like it, because a lot of people are now coming out saying that they actually did like The Incredible Hulk, that it's an underrated film. The reason why they didn't do it is because Disney is greedy. Disney that canceled Star Wars The Clone Wars, even though it was one of the most critically acclaimed cartoons around, even though they had episodes done, in the bag, recorded, shot, everything. All they were doing was rendering the cartoon. Why? Because Warner Brothers had the distribution rights. Cartoon Network had the distribution rights. So they canned it. Then Marvel bought the MCU. Well, they bought the MCU before they bought Star Wars, but Universal owns the rights to the Incredible Hulk solo films. They don't have the rights to, like, a team up. They signed something with the MCU so that he could be in it. So why would they make an Incredible Hulk 2 if they're not going to get the money? It's not like it was some big thing people were skirmishing for, like Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is, well, Spider-Man. He's Marvel's most popular character besides, like, Wolverine, basically, from the X-Men. So in all reality, Disney probably didn't see anything in it for them to make an Incredible Hulk 2. That's why Kevin Feige sat down Ruffalo from another interview that he did on Graham Norton's show, and they talked about what they would do, what Ruffalo wanted to do with his character, and how Feige would weave those into the movies that he was going to be in, how he doesn't need a solo film. Why doesn't he need a solo film? Because Disney doesn't want to pay for it. Because Disney doesn't want Universal to get any kind of money, even though it would be shared. Why? Because Disney is greedy. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.